Hi everyone, it's NonnaGrace, and I was watching some videos and I thought, you know what, I better make mine because it's getting late in the evening. And the people that I just watched a live stream with Natalie on Happy Farms LA. She is so darn cute. And no, I don't do things to make you laugh, but if I make you laugh, I'm so glad I make you laugh. And I watched Linda on PG Nano Farms. She was talking about her grow station for her plants, and that's going to be a really enjoyable project because it's so much fun to watch things grow. Anything that I have that has a seed, I plant it, and I plant it in my house plants because I know I will keep a better eye on it there. So that's where I put a lot of stuff. Then I watched Bo from Off Grid with Bo. He was talking about building the cabin. And I watched Jeff on Bobblehead, but I have to watch Jeff again because I was distracted with the dog going in and out and I didn't get a chance to really know what he was saying. Now today I had some ideas that I wanted to share. Let's see, the idea from Jane Patrick. You people that do videos give me ideas. And she was saying that her family tells her that she's crazy fussy about daft things, she said. Well, you know what, Jane? I am kind of crazy too. When I was doing foster care, the kids, when they would come, I had a round butter dish. And so we used to put the butter in the dish so that it was either a block or it was sticks, whichever, but they were piled up. And when they would get the butter, I did not want them to take it from the top of the hill and scoop out to the edge because it would dirty the dish. So they had to go from the outer part of the dish and scoop up the hill so that the dish stayed clean. And they thought I was just ridiculous because butter is butter. Why does it matter how I take it out of the dish? Well, I wanted to keep the dish clean. Then another one, when they would be washing their hair and the shampoo would get down to where you have like this much shampoo in the bottle, they'd want to throw it away. And I says, no, you add some water to that. You can get probably 2 or 3 more shampoos out of it. Well, they thought I was just terrible making them use watered down shampoo. So I'd say, never mind, I will use it. And now today, these same girls that used to live with me tell me that they've learned a lot of tricks and things to save money, and shampoo was one of them that they mentioned. Also, another thing that the kids used to think I was nuts about is when you use the ketchup or the mustard, you know, when you squeeze it out and it bloops on the cover, you don't just close the cover on that mess. You have to wipe it off or rinse it off or something. And they thought that was sort of silly. But you know, it keeps it clean and it looks nice for the next time when you're going to go use it. Now, Take Control, Central Beauty Style, and more. Barb was talking about how, I think it was her father writes down when he buys something on how much it costs and when it was built. And you know what, Barb? I do the same thing. I have a little book that I write down in there when we put in like the septic tank and how much it cost, and when we bought or built the barn and how much it cost, and when we bought the rototiller and how much it cost, and I also have on the books that comes with these things, I will write the date that it was purchased and how much it cost. So I kind of keep track of those things too. And I also wanted to talk, now this is a channel that it's Elf 270 and it's Grizz 270. He's the same person, but he's trying to stop smoking. And I mentioned in one of my messages to him that I would talk a little bit about that. Now, my husband used to smoke years and years and years ago. He had tried several times to stop smoking, and every time he tried, it would fail. So this one time he says to me he's really going to stop smoking. And it was going to cost him $50, which was a lot of money back in the early 80s. That's a lot of money to spend. And I said, well, I will send the check in, but you better quit smoking. And the way he did it, it was through the hospital. He went through these classes. And what they had them do, in week 1, you could smoke as much as you wanted. You smoked anytime as much as you wanted. And week 2, when you went back, you had to write down why you wanted to smoke, and then you smoked. Week 3, you could smoke only after you waited a half an hour, and you had to write down why you wanted to smoke, but you had to wait a half an hour, and then you could have your cigarette or your pipe or your cigar or whatever it was you smoke. And then on week 4, you had to throw everything out. And the thing that I think got him was the paying of $50, I think, is what really got him, because he thought, wow, that's a lot of money to waste if because it cost, and at the time, cigarettes were only 75 cents a pack. When I worked at the county home, they were 75 cents a pack, and so that was back in the 70s and 80s. That's how much cigarettes were. They're outrageous now. You could build a small fortune with the money that people spend on cigarettes now. You could buy a car after so long. But that's what I wanted to say. And you know what else he did? He ate a lot of, your mouth is going to get sore with those hard candies. His mouth got sore too. He was eating lollipops. And the reason he went to lollipops is after you're done eating the lollipop, you have that little stick, that rolled paper stick that the lollipop comes on. You can chew on that for a while. And that kind of satisfied that something in your mouth, I guess. So I'm wishing you luck on this adventure of trying to quit smoke. You will be surprised. Once you quit, your taste buds come back alive. Everything will taste better. In fact, at first, foods will taste real salty because your taste buds are so dead from being burnt with the cigarette smoke and whatever, and that everything will taste different. And then when you can taste the food, you'll say, wow, this really tastes good, because now you can taste things better, and things will smell better. You won't smell, because when people give you a hug, you actually reek the smell of your smoking, and when that's gone, you don't reek anymore. So you don't want to reek. I don't want to reek. Nobody wants to reek. There was something else I wanted to add to that, and I forgot now. Oh, good grief, Grizz, I'm sorry. I do get distracted very easy. But that's that. And then I was going to talk about a little bit about Part B. I got a lot of good comments on that, whether I should take Part B of Medicare or not. Now, Medicare is for the old people, and that's what I am. I'm one of the old people. Medicaid is for the people that need assistance, and I don't qualify for that. But I decided, after crunching the numbers, I know a lot of you are going to think I'm crazy, but I'm going to opt out of Medicare Part B, because Medicare Part B basically covers your doctor visit, which for me to go to the doctor once a year is $121. I only get blood drawn when I go for that physical, because they do my cholesterol test and to see whether and it's not very expensive at all. And it will pay for an ambulance ride. How many times have you ridden in an ambulance? And it will pay for, like, if you had to have a hospital bed or a walker or a cane or a wheelchair or something, it'll help that. But if you go to a nursing home, it doesn't cover that. And if you have to have home health care come in and take care of you, it doesn't cover that. Now, Part A will cover your hospital. So if you end up having a very, very bad injury or something where you had to go to the hospital, Part A covers that. And that is the free part for us here in New York. I don't know if everybody's got it free, but we have it free. The Part B, if I pay the penalty, say I'm not on it for a good 30 years, because I plan to live to be 105. That's my goal. I figured that out in kindergarten. When I was 5 years old, I said I'm going to be 105 someday. And if I wait 30 years to even get on there, and that would be at 400% is what I would have to pay extra. Even at 400%, it's with the cost that it is of today, would be about $500 added on to $138 is what it would cost me for my Medicare Part B if I really, really needed it. And by the time I'm 97, I think even if it goes up to $200, it would be around $1,000 per month, which by that time, if you've add up all the money that you've saved, not having it, plus they give you a little extra in your Social Security because you didn't use it, you will have saved a lot more money than you realize. So that's why I'm going to opt out of Part B. And I've searched and searched and searched on the internet for anybody that talks about not having Part B, and most of them tell you if you have a job you don't need Part B because you have an insurance that would be considered one that they I can't even think of the words, but it would be a good insurance. But that's what I wanted to tell you. I wrote everything down this time. I actually wrote it down on my book so that I would remember what I wanted to talk about, because I really go off track. And I'm sorry, Grizz, I still can't remember what it was I wanted to add to the about the smoking thing. I did have a thought though. My husband, he wanted a computer. This is back when computers weren't in the homes. It was 1987. Very few people had a computer in the house. And he wanted one, and I said, I will buy you one, but as soon as you start smoking, I will sell that computer. And at the time, computers were $3,000. This is just basic DAWs. No Windows, no nothing, no color, just basic DAWs. And you had to know the computer language to write programs, and which I did write programs at one time. I couldn't do it now, but I told him if he ever started smoking, I would sell that computer. So maybe, Grizz, if you pay $50 to somebody, give $50 to someone, and have a set date that after such and such a date, if you stayed without smoking, they can keep the money, or you get the money back. If you start smoking after that date, then you have to pay them again $50, and they can spend it or whatever. Somehow have money involved. Maybe that will help give you the incentive to not want to go smoking. And I wish you great health. And I will talk to you all at another time. Thanks for listening. Bye.